Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Creating Wealth. My name is Marjorie Roman, and I have the pleasure of learning from our maestro, Robert G. Allen.
Hi, everybody.
And today we're going to talk about one of the beautiful nothing down techniques, which is to supply the seller with what he needs. Because I feel like in the game of real estate, we want to make sure that we are in a win-win situation. You want to make sure that the seller is happy, that you are happy, that everyone's happy. So tell us more about that technique.
My very first property that I bought. It's been a while, but the point is, she was a highly motivated seller. She owned a property that was very close to a university, and she wanted her son to go to that university. And yet she needed to sell her property in order to get enough money so that he could pay tuition to go to this university. And that's why the property was for sale. And the market was a little soft, and she was having some trouble selling it. And as the time came for enrollment in the fall semester, she had a problem. And the problem was she needed to sell this property and to solve her problem, which was what she really wanted she didn't care about the property. It was a duplex. You know, there was rented out to 12 students in this one. Yeah, 6 and 6, a top floor and a bottom floor. And therefore, she needed to get rid of it. It was a hassle, and her son couldn't go to the university unless she sold it. So I recognize that now. I knew this is what she needed. Now, I needed a way to get into that property because I didn't have, her equity was $6,000. And that she felt that was enough to put him into college and get him started and get the books and everything else. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't have $6,000. I had $1,000. That was it. My dad had given me $1,500 for my graduation from university. And I blew $500 on a down payment on a new car. Oh, no. Dumb. This is the stupid thing to do. But I only had $1,000 left, and I'm looking for a piece of real estate, and lo and behold, I find her. Now, we had to solve each other's problems. And so what I said to her is, here's $1,000 for your $6,000 down payment, what you need to take out your equity. Mm-hmm. I'll give you $1,000 now. And that'll get him started. He'll be able to, get some books and things of that nature, maybe start toward the tuition. I'll give you $1,000 in 2 months from now. And, the school year hasn't started yet. This is about the time when he would need it. So he'll be getting another $1,000 in 2 months from now. And then 2 months after that, I'll make you monthly payments on the remaining $4,000. And that's what he needs anyway for his food and for his lodging and wherever he wants to stay. So the $2,000 gets him in, and then the monthly payments will help pay his. So there you go. It's rather than giving you a chunk of $6,000 cash right now, I'll give it to you in the way I can pay it, in a way he probably will be spending it.
That's right.
So she said, okay, I'll take it. I'll take that. Now, I didn't have $1,000 in 2 months from now. I didn't have a job. I had no idea where that $1,000 was going to come from. I gave her all the money I had, which was that $1,000. And then, so 2 months later, how am I going to get that money? Well, luckily for me, the neighbor owned the property next door and wanted this property, and I always wanted it, and had been in Mexico on a whatever. And when he came back from Mexico, he found out that the property he wanted to buy had already sold, and I bought it. And so I said to him, yeah, you got to give me, you got to double, triple my money. I get my $1,000 back. And then you take over these monthly payments. You take them over. You do it. And therefore, I was off the hook. Therefore, I made my profit, immediate profit, took that profit and went and bought a 7-unit apartment building with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm parlaying. This is a word you should know. You want to parlay your first investment into the second, bigger, better. I parlayed that into a 12-unit building, into a 10-unit building, into a 40-unit building. I kept parlaying, and then lots of single-family homes along the way. But I parlayed that one little thing where I had $1,000, and then I parlayed it. So that story, you might say, well, that might have been 10, 20 years ago, Bob. What about today? Well, I'm trying to tell you that highly motivated sellers are everywhere. There's 1 in 20 of them are highly motivated right now. There are going to be more and more and more of them as the economy kind of slows down here for a little bit. But if you might be watching this after the economy has sped back up again, well, guess what? It'll slow back down again. I've been through about 6 of these cycles that go up and down and up and down and up and down. You just choose the strategy that works in the time that you're in. And the time I was in, that $1,000 down solved her problem, solved my problem, and got me parlaying my way into $1 million net worth. And then from that, I parlayed that into a #1 New York Times bestseller. I parlayed that into ownership on lots of other properties, lots of other deals, lots of other businesses. You can parlay from zero, frankly, to anything you want.
That's right. And you just have to get started with a tiny little property. It doesn't matter if it's like a tiny little single family home. As long as you have that piece of real estate, you are safe for life, because you can start using the equity on that property, start getting creative and acquiring even more properties from there. So what are some of the most common things that you have seen in your career that sellers are looking for when they're trying to sell a house?
They're trying to solve their problem.
And what are some of the most common
Well,
problems?
let's give you another example of what you could do. You say, "Hi, what are you going to do with some of the proceeds here when you sell?" I realize that's really none of my business. But I'm just curious. Where do you think? Oh, well, we're going to go on a trip. We haven't traveled in forever. And we've had this property. We've been tied down with our family, and then this house, and this property we own, and so we're going to go and buy a trip to Europe, and we're going to go for a month. We've never done that, and my wife and I, we just want to get the heck out of here. Mm-hmm. Now you know what they're going to do with the money. Mm-hmm. So suppose you have a friend in the travel business. Maybe you could get some kind of special deals there, or maybe you've just got a credit card with lots of room on it, and you go to the seller. I tell you what. Rather than me giving you cash for the down payment, I'll buy your tickets. I'll buy the tickets, and then we'll just apply that towards the down payment. And rather than me coming up with the cash up down, which I'm a little short on, I do have lots of equity, lots of room on my credit card. Mm-hmm. So it would solve your problem and solve my problem at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah. So how much do you want to spend? It's $3,000 for the trip, $5,000 for the trip. Good. I'm good for it. Now we'll take that and we'll deduct it from the down payment that you were looking for. And maybe you did have some money for the down payment, but you were short $5,000, but you had a credit card that had some room on it. That still means you got to go into debt for $5,000 on a credit card. But what if you knew that the property that you were buying from them was substantially under market, undervalued? And that the seller didn't really know that maybe there's a new mall going in like 2 blocks away, and therefore there's huge potential. Maybe it's in a place where you could rezone it next to zone it from residential to commercial. Mm-hmm. By just rezoning it, you doubled its value, and therefore having that extra $5,000 worth of debt on a credit card ultimately in the long run is nothing compared to the profit that we've generated by this property that these people are selling. So sometimes it's worth it to you to hawk yourself up to your eyeballs. One of my first 12-unit apartment buildings, the seller had $80,000 in equity, and I didn't have $80,000.
Oh, wow.
But it was a beautiful property, and I knew it was the best location of all. It was right across from the university. Mm. And the seller said, "Nope, I won't. I need $80,000. I got to have it. Oh, Don't get it to me. I won't do it." And I said, "What if I got you $60,000, and I could refinance it? If I could refinance the property, I could get some cash."
That's right. Yeah.
So from the refinance, I could solve most of their problem. Mm-hmm. Now, the remaining $15,000, could you carry some of that? I mean, let me make you monthly payments over a period of time. And they agreed. It solved their problem because I refinanced and got all the cash out. And then they took a second mortgage from me with monthly payments attached to it so that they could. So sometimes your nothing downing is you do have some money for the down payment, but you're missing some other money from the down payment. There are a lot of creative ways to find that money. So the one I just explained to you is, and we'll be talking about it later, by the way, is refinancing a property that has a lot of equity in it. When you refinance, they get a lot of cash. Duh. Yeah.
All of that cash is just sitting there, but
exactly.
People usually don't know how much cash they've got on their properties, that it's just there. Nobody has touched it, but you can get that amount and start using it for like maybe the down payment, or if you already have the money for the down payment, you could even use it for getting another property on top of the one that you just got.
That's right. That's right. One of the properties I bought on my challenge, when I send me to any city, take away my wallet, give me a $100 bill, and in 72 hours, I'll buy an excellent piece of real estate using none of my own money. I did that. And one of the first properties I bought, the seller was willing to take my nothing down offer because he had arranged things before I got there to refinance the property himself.
Oh, wow.
And he had put a lot of money into fixing it up, increased its value, refinanced it, pulled all his fix-up money and profit out.
Oh, wow.
And so now he's looking for somebody who'll just make the higher monthly payments. Mm-hmm. He'd already profited. He'd already won. Right. So he wasn't what you would call a highly motivated seller. He was just a real smart investor, And so
That's awesome.
I bought it with nothing down and made him monthly payments. And the people who bought it from me when I owned it, I had these high monthly payments, and it was much higher than I would have had if I had put a down payment and had a mortgage. The monthly payments were kind of steep. And I didn't live in San Francisco. I lived in Utah at the time. So I really don't want this property. I just wanted to prove that I could buy it with nothing down, which I did. And then I bought 6 more after that one. But then I immediately sold it to a couple who are living in San Francisco. They bought it from me for nothing down. They took over my high monthly payments. And therefore, I won. They got in for nothing down. My seller got his money when he refinanced and pulled all his profit out. Everybody won. Sometimes when people think of highly motivated sellers is a distressed seller, someone who is disadvantaged, or they're in foreclosure, or something bad's happened, they had a death, and I don't want to take advantage of people's problems. As I've just explained to you here, nothing down doesn't mean it's distressed. It means maybe they want to travel to Europe for a month. Maybe they want to refinance it and pull our money out. Maybe they take my creative financing offer so they can send their son to school. It's just creatively solving people's problems.
That's right. And as an investor, you get to become the problem solver. That one person that is helping them, that angel that comes right when that seller needs most help. Thank you so much again, Bob. And thank you to our audience. So there you have it. Look for those problems and become the problem solver for that seller. So
exactly.
You can change their life. Thank you so much. And we're going to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.